Well, hello, and hello. Welcome to the conversation series for the I Am That Woman movement. We are super excited for you to be here with us today. It's Friday. God has blessed us to come through yet another week, and we are so grateful that we have survived every test, trial, and tribulation. I know I thank God that I survived the hurricane last week, tornado this week in Chicago. So it doesn't matter what storm you may be weathering. What matters is that we keep the faith. So keep the faith. I'm excited about today's show. I have one of my dearest sisters that God blessed me to connect with a couple of years ago, Dr. Portia Lockett, who, through her own stories, her own tests and challenges in life, has now created a nonprofit organization to help those who are struggling with grief, those who have lost whether that loss has been a loved one expectedly or unexpectedly. It could have been a sibling, it could have been a grandparent, a parent, could have been a child. And loss isn't just about grieving someone who has passed away. Loss comes in many forms. Many of us through the pandemic and coming out of the pandemic experienced a lot of loss, whether that was in employment or a career shift, or there's so many different forms of loss. And so Dr. Portia Lockett is here to talk to us today about that subject matter, just about how do we deal with those types of things? How do we go through the process of healing from grief and trauma? It is a process. And you know what? We have to have grace. We have to have grace for ourselves. We have to love on ourselves during these most challenging times. And not only are we going to talk about that, but also we're going to talk about something that I'm super excited about. And that is her coming to co-host this year's I Am That Woman retreat. Y'all know I'm already fired up about it. We are 74 days away, and it's not too late for you to register and come to experience your journey of self-discovery in paradise. The price is priceless, and I'll be talking to you a little bit more about that. But before we even start the show, I want to share something, because guess what? We are more than a retreat. We are a movement. And as you all know, we just launched a free 6-day course to help you with your holistic wellness. We are here. The I Am That Woman movement is here to help you, all African American women and leadership, to learn how to live. And that's what this 6-day free course is. And the retreat is a culmination of us coming together to talk about learning how to live, to get to our next. You can't be your best professional self if you're not your best personal self. So come on and join us at the retreat. But before we even invite you to that, come on and get some free information, resources, and attend our events. Let me tell you how spectacular our events are. I'm going to share a recap of our video of our 5th annual celebration. I celebrated turning 53 back in February, but nonetheless, I thank God for another year around the sun, because when I was 43, that's when the seed was planted for the I Am That Woman retreat. I had dinner with 43 women, and we talked about our health, our wellness, our spirituality, what women go through. And from that seed was planted, and Mrs. Jackson, Reverend Jackson's wife, said, Twyla, I think you might be onto something. And the women who came said, wow, that was powerful. And Mrs. J told me there's a certain power that happens when you get us in the room and we talk to each other. So I want to share this video so you can see for yourself that we are more than just a women's wellness retreat. We are a movement. And you want to be a part of this movement. And you can be a part of this movement as long as you go to our website, IamThatWomanMovement.org, and sign up to get all of our information. Be invited to all of our events and all of our upcoming free content. So let me take you to what is going to be an amazing, what was an amazing celebration. Well, I hope you were able to see that amazing recap of our fifth anniversary. I'm so excited that we have been around with the retreat for 5 years. So, you want to join us this year in St. Thomas, the U.S. Virgin Islands. And the retreat has so many treats. And our guest today is one of them, none other than the Dr. Portia Lockett, coming back again this year. She is my sister, my friend. I mean, the one who is so powerful in helping us to heal. Hello, my sister.
Hello, my sister. It is such a blessing to be back here with you, Twyla. I'm so excited. I can't retain it. I just can't retain the excitement that I have. So thank you for having me back again on the show.
Absolutely. I am so happy that you took some time. Tell us a little bit about who you are, Dr. Lockett.
Well, Dr. Portia Lockett, that is who I am. And first of all, number one, I am a child of the Most High King, and I just enjoy being a open, willing, obedient vessel, always in servant mode. I often tell people it's so much better to be a servant than to be served laying in a hospital bed or incapacitated in a position where you can't take care of yourself. So it's an honor for me to serve and to pour. I am a pourer, love pouring into other individuals, but I am a grief recovery method specialist. I am a chaplain, inspirational speaker, and a spiritual advisor. And whenever you're in my presence, I'm just a lover of all people. I told Twyla last year I took on a new assignment with her organization, and I am the CLO of the I Am That movement. I am that woman movement. That means I am the chief love officer. So when you come to this event in October that we're going to be talking about, oh, you just gonna get loved on. You're gonna get loved on, and that's basically who I am. In addition to that, I am the CEO and founder of the Azel Benet Lockett Foundation, where we help you heal, offer you hope, and hold your heart as you're going through any type of life episodes that lead you down that grieving journey, down that grieving path. And we just pull you in, we just bless you and just help you and let you know and remind you that you are not alone.
That's right. You are not alone. Not only are you not alone with what you have to offer, you are not alone with the I Am That Woman movement. We are not alone. We are together in this. I love supporting sisters. I love what you do at the retreat. You have become a staple at the I Am That Woman movement retreat because what you do, and coming back this year as the co host, y'all. So she is going to be alongside of me interviewing all of the speakers after they get off the stage and even hosting a session at the retreat. But before we get into the retreat, and I know you're excited about it because you got a whole contingent from Detroit representing. Detroit is going to be in the house. I am super excited about that.
Yes.
But before we get to talking more about what you will be doing at the retreat, let's talk about what women and men are going through now, Dr. Lockett. And as I shared earlier, what our show is about today, is something that I know is near and dear to you. And you even have a personal story as to why you started your foundation. And so, again, the process of healing from grief and drama. There are so many people who are dealing with very high levels of stress from the grief and trauma and drama that they are going through. Tell us a little bit about your personal story and how and why God blessed you to start the foundation that you have now.
Well, as I mentioned before, I am a chaplain, so I work in a hospital setting in Detroit, and I support individuals as they're going through their grieving journeys. It could be from dealing with a chronic illness or being diagnosed with a chronic illness that cannot be delivered from. They can't be delivered from. I'm at the beginning of life when a mother comes into the hospital anticipating to have a long-term fully developed baby, and then at the end of that season the baby is not fully developed. The baby is not breathing, and I'm there to be able to support that individual, those families, during that time. Or it could be simply someone's just having an operation and they just need support because they're a little bit nervous, they're a little afraid. They've never had a situation where they've been through that journey before of trying to be healed physically. And then there's mental component of so many people are just going through, like you mentioned, stressful situations in life that have caused them to grieve. And so they will call to me to have a sit down situations and have a conversation about, what are some steps that you can take in order to move through that journey. So as a chaplain, as a spiritual advisor, I am also a grief recovery method specialist. And so we take a proper step and go through a process of helping you to be able to maneuver through your grieving journey, regardless of what it is. And so with all those tools being in place, in December of 2020, my son received his wings by way of being murdered on the streets of Atlanta. And God told me, he says, you're going to take all of those resources, all of that expertise that you've used over the years in order to help other people. You're going to take this and I'm going to get the glory out of all of this. And I had the conversation with God. What do you mean you're going to get the glory out of this? And he says, I'm going to get the glory out of this. You're going to start the Azel Benet Lockett Foundation. My son's initials are ABL because God is able to do exceedingly abundantly anything you could ever hope for or ask for. I'm going to get the glory. So we started this in order to help individuals heal, offer them hope, and hold their hearts as they're going through any type of grieving journey. And we've been doing programs over the last few years. We're coming up on our second anniversary, and we're going strong in the Detroit metro area, helping people heal, offer them hope, and hold their hearts. Regardless of what type of grief or trauma that they may be experiencing, we're there.
That is absolutely beautiful. I think you're going to have to do a chapter in Chicago. So as you expand, so because that's needed everywhere. There are so many people, and you talked about that process. You talked about there is a process. I think sometimes people think that, when they lose a loved one, whether it's traumatic through, there's so many losing loved ones through violence. Our condolences again to you with what your family has had to go through. You have a beautiful grandbaby and you get to see her to grow and to flourish and you get to love on her. But there's so many people who don't know that it is a process, and they don't know, and they expect for this, this grief and this trauma to just go away. So let's talk about that a little bit. What is the process like, and how does your foundation help those who are in need?
Yes. So we started a permission series. That was one of the things that God spoke to me. He said, "You're going to start off with the first thing is permission to grieve, because there's so many people who don't feel that they have permission to grieve as long as they need to grieve, when they need to grieve, how they need to grieve." So we have put in a series of programs to be able to help them through this journey. So the first one, as I said, was permission to be able to grieve. We had individuals to come in and give their testimonies about whatever type of grief that they were experiencing. And then we brought in mental health experts as well as ministers, letting them know it's okay to not be okay. And here are some steps that we can take collectively in order to be able to move forward on our grieving journey. So like you mentioned earlier today, grant yourself grace. Some individuals may need therapy, some may need counseling, some people may need group counseling. Some people may just need just a space to be able to yell and to scream. And then there's other attributes that you can, I mean, programs that you can enter into too, such as sound healing and TRE, which is traumatic release exercises. So everything is not for everybody, but we give you resources in order to help you. Then the next series was permission to heal. How do we begin to heal once that we given you ourselves the okay to grieve? What does my healing journey look like? And it depends on basically what you have experienced, and we guide you along that path. And then we came back with permission to live and laugh, because laughter is the best medicine according to the Bible. And so we provide a safe space for us to be able to laugh out loud together and not taking anything away from your grief. But again, it helps you to relax and to release so that you can move forward. And then we came back with permission to love again, because sometimes when we're grieving, it stops us from loving ourselves. We feel a little guilty that that person is no longer there, or we're in a relationship that no longer exists. It could be a toxic relationship, or going through a divorce, or you just lose a friend. A lot of us as women, we've had long-term relationships with a girlfriend, and all of a sudden you're texting and you're calling and she is not responding, and we put the ownership on us. What did I do? What did I say? We're trying to play back in our mind the last conversation when it was really not really about you, but it's permission for you to move on from that relationship and open up your heart to receive whomever God is going to place in your space at that particular time. And then we come back with permission to move forward after we're grieving and healing and living and laughing and loving again. How do we move forward? And so that was a segment. And then at the very end, how do we celebrate? What is a celebration? Give ourselves some credit. Give ourselves a hug. Give ourselves a pat on the back. How am I going to celebrate the fact that I've gone through this process, this permission process that I've been giving? And how do I celebrate where I am right now? Because it could look a little bit different in another week. It could look different in a month, or it could look different in a year. And it probably will. I don't necessarily like to stay on the anxiety piece, or the piece where it says you got to deal with it to heal with it, which you do. But there's everybody just heals on a different level. So I always try to take the positive route, not just dismantling, what has been built up in terms of the stages of grief, because here's the deal. Everybody doesn't grieve the same way. So guess what? If you don't grieve the same way, you can't go through the steps the same way. So everybody needs something different. And so we're there to be able to support those individuals and come up with a plan and help you with the plan that best works for you.
What a powerful process to get you through those traumas, those dramas, those losses, those challenges. And the other thing about grieving and trauma, I talked a little bit earlier, and I believe that you were the one who taught me this. Loss isn't always through death. Some people are dealing with trauma and loss that isn't associated with someone dying. And so can they also go through this process of healing and living and laughing and get the same level of healing from what may be something that doesn't even deal with death?
Absolutely. Because when you think about trauma, okay, some individuals experience trauma because they've been in a space of being physically abused, okay, sexually abused, emotionally abused. Someone may have experienced being in an accident that impacted their body, their mind, their spirit, natural disasters. You were just talking a little bit about going through the hurricanes. So you think about the repeated episodes, such as the hurricanes taking place in New Orleans, year after year after year, right? And then you have the situations where someone may witness a violent situation, or experience a expected death, or receiving a medical diagnosis. Think about children in school who experience bullying, and they think that the only way to resolve this bullying situation is through gun violence. And these children are witnessing these type of episodes, in their school system, right? And then we experience, some people go through the period of experience of terrorism. Just think about what's going on in the other countries. with the consistent wars that are going on. All of those individuals are grieving, but they're grieving because of the traumatic situations they've been involved in or they have experienced. So it's not cookie cutter program. It's not just for one way. It's not just a one way. I listed a number of ways that someone can experience grief slash trauma.
Yeah, that is so good. That is something to remember. And I think our parents also need to be mindful of our children and the grief that they can and the trauma that they can be experiencing from bullying, from peer pressure, from social media anxieties. There's so much that our youth are dealing with, knowing that our suicidal ideation rates are much higher with our kids now. So even taking your children, making this a family event. Dr. Lockett, is there a way that if someone needs this, that they can access it online, or is there something if they're not in the Detroit metropolitan area that they can reach out to you?
Well, absolutely. You can reach us at the Azelle Benet Lockett Foundation.org. You can go to our website and let us know what it is that you need, and we will provide you with resources, which also include therapy and counseling. And so, also, if the individual has a situation where they had a loved one that just transitioned or passed away, and they don't have a life insurance policy, which unfortunately a lot of people just can't afford, or they have not put in place as of yet. And then we help to underwrite the cost of that, or whatever the need may be as it pertains to helping people heal, offering them hope, and holding their hearts. We do our best to be able to help them. In terms of the permission day, it is right now just the Detroit area. God has been speaking to me on a regular basis that it is going to expand. So hopefully we'll be coming to a city near you. But we don't necessarily videotape it because it gets very emotional. And so we never know how the audience or the speaker is going to respond. So it's very private. And so we just want to make sure that we provide that safe space for those individuals to share as well as express themselves without being exposed internationally or nationally. Yes.
Absolutely. That is totally understandable. You create a safe space for people to be able to come in and to be able to release and be able to get restored and renewed, which is so important when they are going through this process. This is what an amazing process. And so many of us experience our own personal traumas and dramas because God is using us. As you said, you asked God, like, wait a minute, how are you going to get glory, out of this? This is traumatic. I lost my child. But God always works it out for our good. And I love his initials being God is able, ABL. That is absolute blessing. And as we transition from talking about this beautiful foundation that you have that helps people go through their process of grieving, healing from traumas and dramas, you're going to be bringing some of that super juice power to the I Am That Woman retreat this year. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes, yes. We're going to be talking about the power, the importance of forgiveness this year, because so many of us hold on to stuff and it weighs us down. But forgiveness is not about the other person. It's really about us and how we can open ourselves up to heal, to be able to move through whatever it is that we may be experiencing at that particular time. Because when you think about it, when you are holding on a grudge, regardless of what type of relationship it was, what type of situation it is, there's a heaviness. You can't sleep. You're always thinking about that situation or that person or that last interaction. Some people can't eat. Some people can't even communicate. They just shut down the world because they're so focused on that one small detail that happened to them. But whatever it is, you are not the first person who went through that. You're not the first person. You're not the last person, regardless of what it is. The word of God said there's nothing new under the sun. But God grants us peace and new mercies, new grace every single day. And so when you come to the I Am That Woman movement retreat, we're going to give you resources on how to be able to put yourself in that safe space in order to be able to forgive, because it's going to impact your emotional well-being. It's going to improve your relationships. It's going to give you some tools and resources to be able to be mentally stable. Physically, you're going to feel better. You're going to grow physically. It's going to give you a spirit of liberation. And then you're going to come out of this with empathy and compassion for other individuals who may have experienced the same type of experience that you have. But we're on an open level because you'll be able to just say, girl, I went through that. And what helped me is I just forgave myself and I forgave them too. I think earlier, in a couple of years ago, we did a little exercise and we did something very similar to this, which says, I'm just going to inhale, I'm going to exhale, I'm going to forgive myself and everybody else so that I can move on. So that means if I'm taking time out to breathe and whatever it is that I'm holding on to, I'm letting it go. I'm going to forgive myself for not forgiving myself for holding on to all that mess, but I'm also going to forgive that individual so that I can move on and get what God has for me.
That's right. And that is just some, ladies. That's just some of the powerful content that will be at this year's I Am That Woman retreat, October the 2nd through the 6th. You do not want to miss it. I'm telling you, it is one of the most powerful 5 days and 4 nights at a luxury resort in St. Thomas at the U.S. Virgin Islands, the Frenchman's Reef Westin Beach Resort and Spa. You don't want to miss it because we are dealing with so much. This has been a year. We're in a political climate that's contentious. There's so much that's going on with diversity, equity, and inclusion. There's so much that's going on facing us on our jobs in corporate America, facing us as entrepreneurs. And we need that sisterhood. We need to get away to a beautiful place that is culturally I would say, connected to who we are at this 5th annual retreat. And so I'm talking about our holistic wellness that helps us get to our next. This isn't just about a vacation or just to get away. Get away from the hustle and the bustle. Come and break free from the traumas and the dramas that we have all been through. We have all experienced something that, to your point, might be holding us back from who God really has destined and designed for us to be. And so come and make sure you can really go through a self-discovery experience. Dr. Lockett, I think that the retreat is kind of hard to put into words. I was on the phone for 6 hours with my sisters the other day, just trying to come up with the right marketing materials that allow someone who hasn't experienced it to experience it. What's the best words that you can come up with to describe the experience that you have at the I Am That Woman retreat?
Well, first of all, let me just say this. It's a retreat like you have never experienced before. It's different every single year. So if you come with a mindset of just being open to receive something new and refreshing that puts you in a relaxed environment so that you can get restored and recuperate from whatever it is that you have been experiencing in life, this is a safe place for you to be able to come and receive messages from women who have been living the experience to be able to pour into you, not just something they've read in books and studied, but these women who are going to be presenting are living witnesses to various types of experience in life. It's a spiritual connection, it's a mental connection, it's emotional, it's physical. And when we talk about the financial part, last year we had a segment on finances, right? But when you really think about what does it take, what type of price would you put on something like this? As Twyla said, it's really just priceless. You're going to meet so many wonderful women from all over the United States of America and the Virgin Islands, right? And then you're going to get fed. You're going to get poured into. I mean, just come. I'm just, they always say, always have this little half cup. I'm looking at it half full or half empty. Come with an empty cup. Because when you come, we're going to pour into you and you're going to walk away in the experience and overflow. Matter of fact, you're going to be texting folks while you're there saying, girl, you should have been here. I told you should have been here. You still got time. Get that last minute flight. You can be here tomorrow and get what else is left. But I'm telling you, like you said, Twyla, you really can't put it into words because it's a movement. It's experience. We just don't know how God is going to move because all the planning we can do. But at the end of the day, when God says, switch, turn it around, do this and do that, we just got to go with the flow. So that's why I said it's never the same. So just come prepared, be open, just come on, take the challenge. I'll meet you there.
That's right. Take the challenge. She will meet you there and be a part of filling up your cup. It's about getting to your next. We have had women to come back, run for office, start their speaking careers, uh, write their books, go back to school. It empowers you. It really does help you to take that deep dive.
Write books.
Yes, yes. We have had so many testimonials. As a matter of fact, I know we're getting ready to wrap up, but I want to share some testimonials. So we got a videotape of a couple of women who were at our anniversary celebration who wanted to share what their past experiences have been. So I'm going to share one of those from our beloved business partner, Dawn Still Howard, who started with us in the very beginning. I'm going to share what Dawn said about her experience at the I Am That Woman retreat. So let's just take a listen to what Dawn had to say. Let me go down to where it is. Find it in a minute. I have so many things open that I should have closed. Okay, let me see. Why isn't it sharing? Well, let me do this promo video. Let me show you this. Okay. Go ahead, Dr. Lockett. What were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, if you have any questions, I was just going to say, don't hesitate to reach out to Twyla, to DM her if you have any questions or concern. We're approachable. We're out there. So, she checks her emails. She's looking at the feeds on Facebook and on LinkedIn and on Instagram. So it's there.
Absolutely. All right, let's do this promo video. Then I'll come back to the testimonials. I hope you guys will be able to hear it. Sometimes we have audio problems, but take a look at this promo.
I will take them shoulders.
Okay. Yeah. Reaching up. Thank you, God.
Bringing more holistic health and wellness to the community.
Okay, so we're going to talk about spicing things up. Push it up. We got people all ages in here doing this. I love it.
If we're doing more consuming, then at the end of the day, what are you really producing?
Sometimes it's the goal and you want to achieve that, but sometimes it's who you become in the quest.
You have to separate yourself for a season to say, I'm focused on this, honey.
Pray wherever you feel like you want to pray, wherever you stand, wherever you sit, whatever place you're in. It could be in private and public. It don't even matter. Just continue to pray. These messages come all the time. We're just not listening.
Yes, that's just a little promo to show you what the power of our amazing sessions are like and how you can be poured into and how you will receive so much for your next. I'm telling you, our speakers are going to be just as powerful this year. We have some returning speakers, Dr. Portia Lockett. We have Chef Jamaica Pessoa, who's going to be talking to us about our nutritional well-being. Our fitness guru, Valerie Tyler, who's going to be taking us through chair yoga and regular yoga and helping us to stay fit, because that is a vital part of helping us to be well to get to our next. We have some keynote speakers from the island who is coming. We have a spiritual keynote speaker that I will be announcing soon to talk about, our next, and she's going to take us into an amazing session of, what do you do when you have to trust God for what it is that you really want to do in life. We have Dr. Jean Porter King coming to do a 2-part series about our professional development and our leadership, because we are all women in leadership. And so God has to make sure that we are leading with the heart, and so many others. So I'm excited. Susan Taylor said that this is one of the best retreats that she had ever experienced, and it hasn't changed. It still is. We have women who have come back every year. Dr. Benita Carr and I'm getting ready to go see her, Belvon Walker and Shirley Rhodes. So, and it's cross-generational. It is not just for women who are 50 and older. We have women who are in their 30s, in their 40s, in their 50s. My mama comes every year. She's in her 80s. No matter what stage or phase you are in, it has something for you. Dr. Lockett, what else would you say about the I Am That Woman retreat, and maybe 2 or 3 things of why women should register?
I think women should register, but first of all, it's just going to be impact you and just change your life forever. So many times when we're on social media, we see people trying to sell you something because they're going to benefit from it financially. They're influencers. But I will tell you that when you come to this event, your life is going to be impacted, because everything that we're going to pour into you, you'll be able to take it and transfer it into your personal and your professional lives. That's number one. Number two, the women that are going to be there to support you, that you're going to meet, you're not going to be able to meet any place else in the world. And if you don't come, guess what? You're going to miss a special blessing, because God is trying to connect you for your next. And that woman is there to meet you. If you don't come, you're going to miss the connection. You'll have other connections, but this connection you will miss if you don't come. And number three, just come and just be blessed and be open to experience an experience that you've never experienced before. Be prepared to be blessed beyond measure, blessed beyond belief. Just be open to receive what God has in store, because God is only going to do it the way he's going to do what he's going to do October the 2nd through the 6th, 2024 in the Virgin Islands.
That's a whole commercial right there. That's a whole commercial right there. We're just going to take that and start using that on our social media. Thank you so much, Dr. Lockett. I love you. I appreciate you. I cannot wait to see you, embrace you. And listen, ladies, you got to meet us on the beach, because Dr. Lockett and I are going to take you through a spiritual awakening on that Thursday morning right after sunrise. There is nothing like just being still, quiet, and open. Like you said, just come open. And that's my saying, taking the time to be still, be quiet, and open. If you are that woman who have just gone through so much traumas and dramas, and, maybe you don't even know what your focus is and what your next is. And, some people are considering what their next is in this political climate. So if you are stressed out, overwhelmed, exhausted, mentally, emotionally, come on and get your renewal. Come on and be restored. Come on and receive what you know that you can receive if you just take that time to breathe. And that is what you can do October 2nd through the 6th. Dr. Lockett, I love you. You are absolutely amazing. I love the way. And you know what? Every Monday morning, you all can join us. Although next Monday, we are starting at 6:30. I hope that's still going to work for your time. Next Monday, we are going to start 6:30 Central Time, because God just put it on my heart that Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, that we are going to start at 6:30. It's going to be 6:30 to 7:30. And Dr. Lockett always leads us into prayer. It is an absolutely amazing time for us to do morning mindfulness. When you start your day with God, let me tell you, it's a life changer. And having this practice of getting up and praying in the morning, meditating in the morning, it is life transformational. Since we have been doing it for the past couple of years, I can tell you, I survived a hurricane and a tornado in the past 7 days because I knew how to keep my mind at peace. And that was from my daily practice of morning mindfulness. It's just a conference call, 351-999-3566. On Monday mornings, Dr. Portia Lockett leads the prayer. It's always powerful. It's always anointing. And just come and breathe. I mean, these meditations this week have been so powerful. And so if you need a sisterhood, and men can join too. So it's just a conference call line. Come on and join us. Anything you want to say in closing, my love?
I just love you. And the closer we are together, the more I can love you. And I hope you can feel this synergy and this energy that is specifically for you.
Absolutely.
I love you.
I love you and I appreciate you. And I will see you soon. And don't go away so we can talk about that faith walk that we are going to be instituting at this year's retreat. Thank you so much. All right, that wraps our show. Dr. Portia Lockett, one of our speakers and the co-host for this year's I Am That Woman retreat. I was hoping that I would be able to get my testimonial videos to work, but something is going wrong. So I will put them out on our social media. It's more than a retreat. It's a movement. Join the movement. Go to IamThatWomanMovement.org. If you haven't already signed up for our free 6-day course of holistic wellness, go ahead and do that. And don't just do it for those 6 days. Do it every single day. See your life become transformational, where you can live in your next, live your best life. And so I hope again that you will consider joining us for this year's I Am That Woman retreat, October 2nd through the 6th. It's a journey of self-discovery in paradise. The price is priceless. For the single occupancy, it's $3,500. Double occupancy is $2,500. Get that now. Early bird ends August 31st. So you want to get that now. Early bird ends August 31st. And so we are super excited about you coming to join us, because guess what? The experience is really priceless. Everything that you get, if you were to go to their website right now and try and register for a room, it costs the same amount as our entire retreat. And you get 12 amazing transformational sessions. You get to a sisterhood that is amazing, and so much more. All right, that wraps our show for today. I hope you will join us again next week. We love you, appreciate you, and you are always in our prayers. Have a good one. Bye-bye.